Alright, we're going to start out by giving all praise and honor and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. And this lesson is going to go into kill the seed so the springs won't sprout. Alright, and what, basically motivated us to go into this lesson is basically going into, the seeds of envy, seeds of hatred, seeds of jealousy, various seeds that are trying to sprout in your mind. And the first initial reaction you have to do is don't feed into that bullshit, man. You gotta kill it off. You gotta, throw that shit out of your mind, so to speak. That's why we, entitled it as such, to kill the seed so the springs won't sprout. Because when the springs sprout and it takes deep root in your spirit, that's when it becomes a stronghold. A lot of time men, they'll let these demons linger and fester in them, and they'll entertain these thoughts to the point it starts to seal what's inside of them, man.
And to the point where you don't even know that it's a demon anymore.
That's right.
You're starting to think that thought is true.
That's right. Because everything starts with a thought, man. Homosexuality, the man that practiced homosexuality, the first thing was entertaining that thought of having sex with a man. Now, he might have pushed that energy away time and time again, but after a while, it started to arouse, so to speak. It started to arouse. He started to entertain those thoughts, and after a while, he performed and took action upon those thoughts that splintered in his mind.
That's right. And
then that's how Scripture says it speaks: when lust hath conceived, then bringeth forth sin. Which we have that scripture, but I'm gonna start out with this scripture: Wisdom of Solomon 3:14. And blessed is the eunuch which his hands have wrought no iniquity, nor imagine wicked things against the Most High. For unto him shall be given the special gift of faith, and an inheritance in the temple of the Lord, more acceptable to his mind. And we represent those spiritual eunuchs, all right? Basically not going to horn after other gods and after other deities. We're keeping ourselves chaste virgins, so to speak.
Right.
And as it says, nor imagine wicked things, because the first thing is the image. Whenever an image comes in your mind that's outside of the spirit of the Lord, that becomes an idol, man. That becomes a deity or a spirit that you actually entertain and you practice and you worship. All right, because worshiping something doesn't have to always go into you actually chanting the name and things of that nature. Worship is simply to show something as worthy, to bow down or subject yourself unto. That's something that you worship. All right, you subjugate yourself unto that.
That's right.
What's the word subject meaning? Under the rules. So you looking at that as a worthy thing to actually indulge in. All right, that's practicing other spirits, man. And just like I said earlier, your initial reaction is, all right, that's a demon, man. The scriptures don't speak about that. The scriptures don't speak about that. Or if the scriptures speak about, pride, if you have that prideful demon and that prideful nature lodging or trying to sprout in your spirit, your whole thing is to do what? Repel it by the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Just like when you have certain seeds and things like that, diverse seeds that you don't want grown in your farm, so to speak. What do you put? You put a germicide or herbicide, something to basically destroy or kill that seed. Kill that those herbs or those weeds. And that's the same thing you gotta do with these demons that try to attack and to plague your mind. Because when they come, as it is written in Matthew the 13th chapter, they bring more demons with them, and it speaks about how the latter time is worse than the first, so it becomes harder and harder to get those demons off of you.
That's right.
Sirach 16:23. He that wanteth understanding will think upon vain things, and a foolish man erring imagineth follies. Right, and you don't never want to be that individual that has those images of folly in your mind, man, because it starts to essentially become a part of you. You start, just like I said earlier, that's a form of psychology, man. You start to be, first off, you don't want to be around it. All right, the scriptures speak about he that's among the wise shall be wise, and he that's a companion of fools shall be destroyed. And it also speaks about how wine and women will make men of understanding fall away. Because if you're amongst that spirit gradually takes a liking to you, And likewise, you take a liking unto it.
That's right.
It attracts, and you know, it becomes one. That becomes a characteristic of yours. Just like if you're around sinners, then that sinful nature is gonna gradually.
It's gonna come upon you.
It's gonna come upon you, and you're gonna actually be a part. You're actually gonna be that. All right. It's first started, like I said, with the thoughts. And imagining certain things, or actually hearing certain things time and time again amongst certain peers and things of that nature, niggas, you know, and those demons that these guys are pushing out starts to rub off on you. And that's another thing we push. Don't be around niggas all goddamn day, man.
The scripture speak about in Sirach, the sinners not the godly not being around the sinners.
That's right. Because it's a division. The Lord says that in Amos 3:3, how can two walk together except they be agreed?
Mm-hmm.
And then it says, be not unequally yoked with unbelievers. So you can't yoke or join yourself with unbelievers, men that don't believe in this truth, because it's going to, you know, pull you away from your belief. You know, those demons going to actually try to detach you from that spirit that's dwelling in you by being seduced and basically giving into that strange woman, those other practices. All right, this is Mark 2:6, and this is just an example of these, you know, individuals, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, or as it is written right here, the scribes, who basically from demons, certain perceptions they had about Yahushua, they started to reason among themselves. Because the first is the spark of imagination, which is the image. Second is the reasoning among yourselves, getting somebody that feels how you feel and consult and agree. And then that's when that demon starts to confirm within you, you know. So this is Mark 2:6. It says, but there were certain of the scribes sitting there and reasoning in their hearts. Verse 7. Why does this man thus speak blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but the Most High only? So that, just like this is as an example, this is the psychology of those demons, man. The word psychology goes into spirits. This is how spirits start to lodge. First, the imagining follies, imagining these things, and then getting with other demons and reasoning among yourselves. That's why a lot of guys that fall out, they fall out in pairs, man. Because those demons jump on one vessel, and that one vessel starts to push it on another vessel, and they start talking, and next thing you know, they turn into full-blown scoffers, man. Verse 7. It says, why does this man thus speak blasphemies? Who can forgive sin but the Most High only? And immediately when Yahushua perceived in his spirit that they so reasoned within themselves, he said unto them, why reason ye these things in your hearts or your mind? Whether it is easier to say to the sick of the palsy that thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say, arise and take up thy bed and walk. But that ye may know that the Son of Man hath power on earth to forgive sins, he said to the sick of the palsy. So, you know, these different individuals, they felt like they was right in their spirits. And that's why they came to try to attack the Lord with how they felt off of what they read, off of their belief. But their belief was actually disbelief, you know. And it was actually a demon that was, through that deception that was on them, through intelligence, working on their minds to come against the Lord. And they truthfully believed that they were right in their heart, their so-called heart of hearts, you know. But it was the imagination. It was demons that jumped on them, you know. And that's how you gotta always check yourself. That's why the scriptures speak about examine thyself whether thou be in the faith. You know, prove yourselves lest you be reprobates. Because you can't turn reprobate if you don't examine yourself. That's the byproduct of lack of examination, lack of checking yourself and humbling yourself, is being a reprobate, being proud.
We see plenty of examples of it.
That's right.
You know, men who fell out of GMS and start teaching off doctrine. You know, and that's because they didn't self-examine themselves.
Yep.
You know, they let those thoughts take over them. Yep. And become a part of them.
Yep. It bred the seeds, you know, sprouted just like with you know, parasites and things of that nature. You got to cut those parasites off, because when they in your body, you're the living host. And what do? They breed, man. They breed, and they actually attach to your food supply. They attach to your whole all of your resources that you have resourced in your spirit, and they gradually suck the life out of you, man, like a vampire, so to speak. And that's how those demons do. That's why a lot of guys turn hollow, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
They hollow out. And the spirit, at first they were men that were really believers, so to speak,
on fire.
Then gradually they turn hollow. So this is 1 Timothy 6:11. It says, "But thou, O man of the Most High, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness." And that's what it's about. Follow those things. Follow the fruits of the spirits, so that the fruits of wickedness won't actually lodge in your spirit.
Right.
And fast if you have to. Pray that the Most High actually show you where you go off it, where you go amiss, as it is written, hide or reveal secret sins, so to speak, as it is written in Psalms, man. Roughly paraphrasing, of course, but that's how you gotta pray. You gotta pray that the Most High reveals you unto yourself.
That's right.
Reveal those demons so that you can actually break them off and detach them off of you, so you can become stronger and stronger and grow from glory to glory.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all we have for you, Akim. Hopefully you brothers was edified. We're going to end it by giving all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakar Kodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom, Akim.
Shalom.